Billy, 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 bam, 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 ba-dum, bam, 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 ba-dum, bam, 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 ba-dum, bam, meow, 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 meow. Meow. That's the beginning of the Friday show. Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's Friday. How are you doing? I hope you're feeling well out there. I hope your life is going fantastically. And I hope that everything's working out well. If it's not, just keep grinding on it, and it will hopefully get better. As they say, just continue doing the next indicated step, and you shall eventually have some kind of success, right? Hopefully everybody out there is doing well, and there's nothing too traumatic happening. There's nothing too traumatic happening over in this neck of the woods, other than we got to find this little arrow here. Boop, 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 boop. Other than just baby stuff. She's fine. She's totally healthy, totally happy, and but she's decided to start sleeping weirdly. That's not helping. It's not helping anybody's situation in this building right here that I am occupied in right now. It's not helping either of Vicky Toria or myself. It's not a big assist getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight, 1, 3, 4. It's not helping, but we shall survive. We shall continue ever forward, doing what we can, when we can, and figuring it out. That's the deal. T. Riddle is here, wondering if I'm drinking dirty tank water. Yeah, of course. It's not coffee and cream. It's dirty tank water. Anyhow, that's the Rick's thing, so I couldn't be doing that if he ever comes back to the land of the YouTube or whatnot. Can't be stealing the Rick's move. He's always drinking dirty tank water, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's get the show started off correctly here. Let's give a shout out to 54 Punchy for first to the chat, Ricardo Santiago for being number 2, and Scott Hillen for being number 3. Rocky's Rocky is here also. Sopa Loco, Pete Berlinski, Scott. Oh, I said Scott. Hi, hi Scott. Twice. Big D Smoke, Gar, the Graphic Aquatics and Reptiles. Cheshire Cat's here, listening while doing a paper tonight. First final is tomorrow, living that college dream. I have no idea what kind of college has finals on a Saturday, though. What is that? That is bizarro, and I don't know that I would have ever continued to attend that college. That's bizarro with the Saturday final. Whew, rough. I see Joel Gillett, straight out of New Zealand, coming out Kiwi style. Dreams of Aquariums. Rob the Butcher. Good to see Robert. Scott Schatz. Well, we got multiple Scotts today, you guys. It's getting confusing. It's Nature Man. And then my chat just scrolled all the way to the bottom. What's up, everybody? I don't know. Sorry. If I missed anybody, it's not on purpose. I'm not throwing shade at anybody. You know what I'm saying. Just a what's up. And got distracted by the chat there. Meat Man just got notified. God darn YouTubes. Well, we just started a minute ago. Well, 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. Something like that. So, we're warming up the show, getting it ready, and big shout out on a Friday here because the Friday show, we typically go through the Patreon comments, complaints, posts, victories, failures, all that kind of stuff. what is the Patreon? The Patreon is how we crowdfund being able to make videos for this channel, make the show, all that kind of stuff. And we have a bunch of lovely supporters over there on Patreon. It's a third-party website. It's not associated with YouTube, although there are a lot of YouTubers on there that people are helping out to fund this nonsense because, as we know, Adpocalypse 3.0 is happening right now. People are being demonetized and all sorts of stuff like that, and it's just it's very inconsistent to hope that YouTube's going to be able to pay the cost of doing business. I have mentioned it. We've talked about it a few times, but like buying cameras ain't cheap. Fixing up the computer ain't cheap. When my computer blew up, we were able to pretty quickly turn it around because of Patreon and stuff like that, and people becoming members on YouTube now. That's much more consistent. Just to have an idea of like, hey, how much can I spend on, like driving to Oregon and filming in Oregon and stuff like that, or possibly going to film somewhere else, or, fix a thing, or, pay for the internet, or all that hosting fees, like the website fees and all that kind of stuff that is just constantly going on. And I think one of the things that a few people have noticed over the last couple of weeks, we've stepped up. We've stepped up the audio game. I am no longer making the goofy music that I put onto my videos, and I am no longer utilizing any Creative Commons or Creative Commons. If people are confused by that, it's people that make music and then they just put it up like anybody can use it. But basically put, had to pay for a license so that we're able to use a music library online. And as you guys know, that's super affordable. Not that affordable, but it is what it is. And but it's definitely stepped up. But that's just an example of just stuff that costs. Like editing programs, all that kind of stuff. There's just a lot of costs that go into it. And the way that we sort of... the way that we fund that is by all the cool Patreons and Patreonizers over the people on Patreon, and yeah. So on Fridays, we talk about all the community stuff on there. And somebody said a little while ago, excuse me. You guys know I've been working a lot and breathing in a lot of sawdust. Even though I wear my dust mask, I just have no idea what's happening. Still getting the old the dust cough. I don't know why. I'm wearing my dust mask and respirator all the time, but I don't know. I've just been coughing quite a bit. But yeah, somebody mentioned a while ago, they were like, oh man, that seems like so lame that you go over the Patreon stuff and whatnot. And I'm like, well, the goal is to build a community, and it feels like the most community type space to me. A lot of people are like, well, why don't you make a Facebook page? And I do have a Facebook, a small Facebook group that people are on, but honestly, I feel like, the Facebook influence on everything that goes on there is just kind of outrageous. You know what I mean? It's like how many ads are going on there, how much stuff gets suppressed and whatnot. And I actually tested this out yesterday. I actually, it's not scientific test, but I literally tested this out yesterday. So I posted what would be like a normal picture that I would post onto Facebook. And then what I did was I posted a YouTube video underneath it, right, in the comment. And instead of it getting shared out to the normal amount of people, only about 10% of the people actually got it, right? So one of the things that I find to be quite effective of the Patreon page is that if you post something up there, I'm going to talk about it on Friday. And if I happen to not be here for a Friday show, then I'll get to it like the next day that I'm back. Like if I happen to be out of town or have to, my legs fall off or whatever. So, I will talk about it. Like, if I do miss it, don't worry about that. It will come back. And one of the things that is interesting, I've been kind of testing out to see whether or not it's something that we'll be able to do in the future. And I think we will be able to do in the future. We're going to actually be doing some live streams on the Patreon page. So there just seems to be a couple little kinks and stuff like that that I need to get worked out. And as you guys know, I am building a new studio down in the basement, which that is actually getting really close to being done. Like hopefully next weekend I'm going to be able to be putting, next week and next weekend and stuff, I'll be putting a lot of the finishing touches on that. I was hoping to do that this weekend, but we have to go to my mom's. We got to go out to my mom's for a little bit of a family reunion thing. So we're going to be driving out and doing that, and instead of working on the studio and continuing to fix up the house here. So, but that is something to look forward to. We're going to be able to live stream there, and then but don't despair, because the YouTube people, what I'm going to do is actually we're going to be editing those live streams down and then uploading some of the clips and stuff just to YouTube, so that people can watch 10 or 15 minutes of it and stuff. And have we're going to have guests and stuff on that. And so, just kind of working out the kinks of the future and stuff like that, and just continuing moving forward. Like I said, a bunch of, I don't know, not a bunch, but the vocal minority that likes to freak out and be all super mad, right? is the kind of people that are like, I don't understand, you talk about, you talk about Patreon and stuff like that during your show. And it's like, yeah, that's the advertising part of this show, right? I try to make it interesting as possible. We don't have any direct sponsors, but the indirect sponsors that we have are our affiliate sponsorship with the Aquarium Co-op. So if you do go through our links, it basically gives us credit. If it's something that you were going to go buy from Amazon, or you were going to go to whatever other company and buy it, and you're like, oh, maybe I will try out Aquarium Co-op for the first time because they have awesome service, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. Not only is the customer service exceptional, the shipping, all that is top notch. That's why I even work with them. Those guys, everybody there actually cares about fish, plants, the environment, all that kind of stuff. So it's literally, that's why we have that. I also have an affiliate sponsorship with Amazon. So if you use our Amazon link and go through there, it doesn't change the price. Same thing with Aquarium Co-op. It doesn't change the price if you go through. But if you're just thinking like, oh, I've never ordered from Aquarium Co-op or whatever, and I wanted to give it a try and try some of the stuff that I use from there. I don't get everything from Aquarium Co-op, but I get as much as I can. There's some weird stuff that I need that they don't carry. So I do have to go to Amazon sometimes and order random stuff. Like I had to order Sera, S-E-R-A, the German aquarium company. I ordered their CO2 reactor, and I had to go to Amazon. So I'm going to be testing that thing out versus a couple other setups just to see how well that works, because I think that thing was it was like $50. Let me see if I can find it. Sarah CO2. Where'd it go? Oh, they have tools now. Oh my. Hey, you guys want to watch a show where I shop for aquarium tools? No, let me see. Yeah, so the really big one that I got was $58. Okay, so yeah, it was like $50. 58 plus tax, so $60. So pretty expensive, honestly. But I want to give you guys an actual actually want to test it out, see how well it works. I could have, like, I guess, emailed Sarah and see if they would send one out for free, but, you know, I feel like, hey, if I'm working all these extra shifts, why don't I try and get some stuff, and then, you know, the reality is that, you know, if I actually try it out and have bought it and that kind of stuff, I think the perception is that I'll be more honest about whether it sucks or not. Right? You know, so it seems to be the case as far as like internet people go. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was like, is there some kind of if I put the mouse and hang it over that, it turns into a big pop-up window. Okay, that's weird. I'll try to not do that anymore. And some people know that I was doing a giveaway, and you guys know that the giveaway is going out to Shelby Ray. If you guys don't know who Shelby Ray is, she won one of the 2 giveaways, and we had to do a whole new giveaway. So I want to do that real quick, and we have to find the random comment. YouTube random comment picker. Let's see. All right, so here we go. We shall see. Let's see who wins. Amount of unique comments, 32. It's randomly picking. Yep. Preston John. All right, let's crop that. So luckily I have Preston's phone number. I guess I could just see what's up with him. So we'll save that, and then we can post it up. All right, because we never got an email for HDJC. He or her, I don't know if it's a he or she. We never got the email to where to send it to or anything like that, and that's going to be going out Monday, so I need to get that done and figure out and get that sent out. So I've got all those plants sitting there, and the last thing I want to do is just let them to keep growing when I could be sticking them in the mail, you know. So random comment picker winner, Preston John. What was that? I'm getting notifications from the security system. Well, a lot of people are like, "What? Oh, you already had so much stuff." We'll see. We'll see what Preston does. We shall see. We shall see. Cheshire Cat forgot to post for the redraw. A lot of people forgot to post for the redraw. So we shall see. YA Crazy says he didn't answer my puffer email. I'm unsure about Preston's email situation, but as far as I know, he has a company that's doing it, that's handling the puffers for him. Like, he's just breeding them and growing them, and then those guys are handling the shipping and stuff. So I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, I'd hit him up and see what happens. Rochelle D with $10 super chat says, love to listen while at work. It makes the last hours go by. Thanks for all the videos. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, I mean, we broke the 1,000 videos mark a little while ago, maybe a week and a half ago or something like that. And it's pretty crazy to realize like just how much stuff is up on the internet from this guy. Although I did mention on hold on. I don't want to give you the wrong channel name. So let me see. Yeah, Fish for Thought. he had posted a video, and I was, he was giving a bunch of shout outs to the aquarium YouTubers, and I was in the list there, and so I was like saying, thanks, man. I got the, I got over 1,000 videos, which is, like it means I have a lot of bad videos. So, as I've mentioned before, I'm doing my best to continue going and moving forward. And if I look at the videos from like 10 years ago, the ones I'm making now are better. Am I completely happy with them? No, not really, but that's life. I wish I don't know. I feel like I've got so many plates spinning right now that, we'll see how it goes. But like I mentioned earlier, we've upgraded the audio, so at least the soundtracks are definitely getting better. It's a much better mix of audio selection these days, so it's pretty good. We got a $5 super chat from YAA Crazy. Says, getting ready to buy my Scootin' Fruity Puffer. I want to make the tank awesome. Any suggestions to make it special? Didn't get this in for Patreon. Oh, okay. Well, I think the reality is with any puffer tank, one of the things that you're definitely going to have to take into consideration is just exactly how messy and dirty puffers are. So they are going to foul the water. So keep in mind that you're going to have to do a good amount of water changes and stuff like that. You're going to have to do a good amount of, even with tiny puffers, even with the tiny little puffers, they are really, really messy. And they for sure are a big mess and will foul up the water. So you have to take that into consideration, plus all the snail shells and everything that are going to be in the substrate. You guys, if we get to the video section today, you guys will see I am ripping up the 150. The 150 is getting a big change. I think I titled this today super clickbaity title, right? Fish room destruction. Yeah, the Rescape. I'm planning some big changes with my fish room. You guys know that I've been sort of focused on the makerspace, and I think some people have been confused about the makerspace. That's one of the other things for the Patreon is like, hopefully we could hit a point where we're able to fund the makerspace. And the reality is what the makerspace would be. I know some people sent me some emails and I haven't gotten back to them yet, but I will. But I'll also address them here a little bit on the show. Is that, is it going to be a traditional makerspace where people do carpentry and stuff like that at it? No, not at all. It's 100% going to be aquarium themed. It's going to have a bunch of aquariums in it. It's also going to have all the lighting set up so that we're able to film. We're able to film directly and have it be really nice. So think of it as sort of, a studio that we'd be able to film in, and also have, YouTube fans and aquarium fans and stuff like that be able to come to. That's the reason why I'm kind of calling it, we kind of settled on calling it a makerspace. It's sort of like, instead of calling it a fish studio or something like that, the idea would be that we'll actually have a little bit of space in there to be able to do demonstrations, and also just like do straight up live streams and stuff like that are professional and not just, somebody got a cell phone set up, clip to something. You know what I mean? It's like actually being able to broadcast like this. You guys can see how good the broadcast quality is on this stream right here. Want to replicate that with the ability to be able to have it live with certain guests and stuff like that. And one of the ways that I look at it is that, let's say somebody like Tom Barr comes to town. It's really awkward if somebody comes to town and it's a convention. Like, it's great that you can go meet people at a convention and stuff like that, but there's just kind of so much stuff going on that you get very limited interaction. It's very difficult to, really meet all of the people that you want, because it's like you go to a convention and there's like 30 people there you want to meet, but everybody else wants to meet those 30 people also. It just becomes kind of chaotic or something like that. I'm down here in Tacoma, and the reality is like maybe 20 people would want to come and meet Tom Barr or something like that. Maybe you want to come. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want 20 strangers just coming over to my house, you know, like, I don't know, maybe they're anti-vaxxers and they bring measles into the house. I don't know. You know, I mean, I couldn't tell you. This is the thing about strangers, is that they're strangers. And, you know, the thing about strangers is that you don't know who they are. I got a baby. I got a lovely spouse. I got dogs. I got chickens. I got all sorts of stuff that I have to keep track of. Yes, we have an alarm here. Yes, we have video surveillance on pretty much every inch of the property, all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to just be inviting a bunch of strangers over to your house all the time, right? Because you just don't know. So one of the thought process there is like, well, if it's a professional space that people could go to and everybody knows kind of like, hey, that's the spot that you could go to. It's not a big deal. Hey, then I think that would work great. And the reality is like almost every YouTuber I know that does have a fish room, that has a bunch of tanks or something like that, they have them all at their house. Me too. Me included. And it just seems like a terrible setup. Seems like a terrible setup. You know, even Corey from Aquarium Co-op, like we built out the fish room at his place with the studio and all that kind of stuff, and it's great, but let's be honest, like it's at his house. So nobody knows where his house is, and you don't know that like where his house is. So it does make it like a little bit difficult to figure out. Like it makes it a little bit difficult to figure out what it is that you're trying to do, right? And you can't just like have a bunch of strangers come over. And I don't want to open a store. Like opening a store is not my thing. I don't want to ever be a retail guy. You know, I was a chef for many, many years, and you know, let's just be realistic here that like I don't necessarily want to do retail. I just don't. I've dealt with the public for, you know, almost 2 decades, and I'm super not interested in that business. That's just not something that I'm into. If I wanted to do like a business that was around aquariums, is that I would probably just be setting up aquascapes for people, setting up systems for people, and doing that kind of stuff. And I don't even think I would want to be doing the maintenance end of it, unless if I was doing the maintenance end of it, and I guess maybe if it was like some kind of crazy high-end client, like the Amazon spheres or something. And if I was doing something like the Amazon spheres, then like some kind of giant client like that, then yeah, maybe I would be down to do maintenance. But I definitely don't want to be a retail guy and trying to resell products and stuff like that. That's not my deal. You know, I know a lot of other people that are way better at that than I am. So don't really need to be all up in that. I don't really need to be all up in that business. What did I do? I think I hit some kind of weird button over here. Did I just crash the chat? What did I do? Ooh. I'm turning on the time. Oh, there's time. You can toggle the timestamps. Oh, look at that. All right. I guess I'll just go back to the pop-out chat. So, and one of the things that I find to be I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for here? So one of the things I find is that, like, even with the conventions and stuff like that, I find that the way that they're set up is ineffective, you know, for most of the online community. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in Australia, it's sort of unreasonable to be like, yeah, fly to the US so you can come to a convention, right? Like, it's just hardcore. Like, yeah, you might be able to do that, like, once every 10 years or something like that. But realistically, I don't think that you'd be able to pull that off just willy-nilly, you know. So the kind of a thought process behind the makerspace is being able to broadcast some of that stuff, getting a chance to check out some of the things, and you know, actually be able to broadcast it and be like, if I had Tom up in town, I'd be like, yeah, come to the makerspace. We'll go hang out there. We'll record some stuff. We'll film some stuff. You can mess around with some tanks. Maybe we'll do a live stream of you doing it, whatever. Or at the very least, we could film it, right? Have stuff set up, film it, boom, boom, boom. And maybe a couple of people wanted to come in person or something like that. And then, you know, we could move forward. So that's the plan with the makerspace. So if anybody was confused, I just talked about it for way too long. I rambled around in a circle, and I'm not sure if everybody's just super confused now. But that is the plan. Have a bunch of tanks set up, film them like crazy. If fans want to come check them out and stuff like that, maybe you want to come take a selfie with one of my fish tanks, right? You'd be like, oh man, I've been watching this fish tank for a grip, and I want to see it in person, because that's the kind of stuff that I like to do, you know, is being able to check out things that I've been watching the progress on for a really long time. Like, I love that, you know, that is really cool. And I can't think of a specific example off the top of my head. Certainly can't. What is a perfect example? This is a terrible example. I'll admit it right out the gate. Terrible example. I got to see Tom Cruise through a window. He was like out across the street one time. You're like, that's that guy. Crazy. I also got to see President Clinton when he was the president. I was like up. This sounds creepy, but I was up in a hotel looking out the window, and he was down on the street walking on the street. I think I was at on the 8th floor or something like that, looking out the big window, and President Clinton was just walking on the sidewalk, and you're like, that's him. That's the guy. So those are terrible examples, but you get what I mean, right? Anywho, we got to go to the Patreon. All this talk about things that aren't going on. Let's talk about something that's actually going on. Johan is sending us our fish of the week from last week. He got it in too late. He got it in too late last week, but he still got it in, and you could always check it out. You could always check it out. Oh yeah, you could always go over to the Patreon and check it out. He got it up, but he was like, you know, we had this thing loaded and all that stuff and whatnot. Friday's Fish Facts says seeing Corey's 800 in person. While it's an impressive tank, I think the first time that I saw it, I don't know that I was really like blown away. To be honest with you, it's cool. It's an impressive tank, and it's a really cool system. I think I was more blown away when I drilled a giant hole in it. That was stressful. I'll be honest with you guys. Cutting, it's like double stacked, like 2.5-inch thick acrylic on the back of it. Cutting a hole in that was, I was kind of blown away by doing that. Then, as compared to the first time I saw it, that's life though. Life is weird. Anyhow, Johan sent this in. It's the fish of the week last week was ropefish. Ropefish, or I'm not even going to try and say that. Also known as the reedfish or snakefish, make attractive community members in the freshwater aquariums. They are fun to observe, easy to keep, and relatively hardy fish. Anyone planning to keep these fish should have a secure aquarium lid, as they are known to escape from their enclosure, because I think ropefish need to go up on land sometimes for something. Very small fish should be avoided as tank mates. They find themselves on the dinner menu. Ropefish are from Western Africa and can be found in waterways ranging from Nigeria to the Congo. While ropefish resemble eels and may even be confused with bikers, they stand apart in that they possess tough scales and an array of dorsal and anal fins. The males have 12 to 14 rays. 12 to 14 rays. Females have 9. Oh, there we go. The fish can be kept in mildly acidic water, or mildly acidic to neutral water, and a pH range between 6.5 and 7.5. Temperature of the water should be held to a constant between 71 and 84 degrees, 22 to 28 degrees centigrade. Ooh, that is a lovely fish, and it's also one of those things that Johan has all of these fish. These are like pictures of his fish. He somehow has these like super impressive pictures of these super impressive fish that are from his fish room. He has a crazy fish room, and I really hope to go to the Netherlands someday and check him out. I was talking to Vicky about that the other day, and she's like, I'd go to the Netherlands. And I'm like, I bet you would. But I'd like to go to the Netherlands with Vicky and go out there and, you know, film Johan's tanks and whoever else is in the Netherlands. I want to get back to doing more fish room tour videos because those are super fun. I have to admit. They're fun to film. They're fun to make. It's fun to meet the people. It's fun to check out the fish and plants and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, it just feels like it's all of the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to get back to doing some more of those. Michael Saar sent in, I pulled these guys from one of my outside tanks to try and get some good pics, but the color doesn't seem as bright. Ooh, snap. Yeah, I don't like it. It's super rough when you try to get a fish in to get some photos and stuff like that, and then, you know, they kind of drab out because you move them from tank to tank and that kind of stuff. So one of the things I would recommend to people, if you're trying to get some underwater pics or videos of fish, there's a super easy camera nowadays. It's the Osmo Pocket. It's the Osmo Action. Look into that camera. It's like a GoPro. If you don't want to do that, get a GoPro Black. What is it? The GoPro 7 Hero Black or whatever. You can get some really cool pictures that way. And yeah, that would be my recommendation there. Trying to go with a bigger camera with an underwater body or a case or any of that kind of stuff is crazy expensive. I remember, I was looking for a case to go underwater for one of my cameras for my DSLR, and it was like more money than the camera itself for the case to actually shoot underwater properly and actually have a guarantee that it's not going to get water in there. Hold on a sec. And so that was super problematic, where I was like, this is nonsense, man. This is total nonsense. So, but the Osmo Action, I've been using that over the last couple weeks, something like that. I really like it. It's really like a one-stop camera action thing. You can get underwater. You can get underwater footage that otherwise wouldn't be able to, and you can also take pictures with it. And it's really easy to take the pictures because you can take kind of the fairly high def the pictures. You can take 4K video with it. So you can take 4K video with it and extract some stills from the 4K video. So that would kind of be my advice here, is look into something like that, and maybe try to go that way. All right, Justin E sent this in, and you guys will notice I'm hitting the heart as I go along here to not only notify the people that have their post up, but it also, it's how I keep track also. So it's like a double whammy that people are like, oh, hey, Joel just liked my post. Oh, he must be talking about it right now. So, if just in case you want to pop on and be like, oh, I got a notification that you hit the like button on my post, just like how you guys should hit the like button on this video. Self-promotion. Ugh. But that's why I hit the like button, so that they'll also know, oh, he hit it at 3:39, so maybe they don't want to listen to the whole show, and they just want to hear that little part that I was talking about them. Then they'll know too. Justin E says, I bought this nanner plant, the old banana plant, 3 months ago from the co-op, and it has been doing very well. I appreciate it. I was almost considering getting some banana plants to bring them home to do some growing and maybe do a tutorial video for you guys to help you out with growing your banana plants. But I still haven't done it yet. I probably should at some point in time, but I don't know. I'm kind of pushing that off because I'm working with some pretty crazy plants right now already. So I'm just kind of dealing with all that kind of stuff, and I want to think. You know, what would I want to do if I got some banana plants? What would I want to do with them? You know, so but I love the old banana plant. They're a lot of fun, and definitely a beginner plant. So it's been a long time since I've really messed with them. But if you are somebody who's just starting out in the hobby, it's one that you will probably get recommended to you. But it's a fun plant, especially when it starts going and growing and growing like crazy. Lexi V sends this in. Everybody's got all these beautiful tanks, and here I am just excited that my Caffafolia finally grew a new leaf. Well, I will remind you, Lexi, growing new leaves on your plants, that is the first victory to growing a whole bunch more plants. I don't know how to put that. That's like step one that you're doing well. So, hey, 100% props to you, and just remember to don't get discouraged here, you know? Don't get discouraged. You know, comparison is the, you know, comparing yourselves to others and whatnot, that's a slippery slope of bad news, you know? So just keep working on your project. I don't know how many times I have to reiterate this, and I'll keep reiterating it forever if I have to. You just, in realistic terms, the biggest secret is just to keep working on the project, okay? That's it. That's the big giant, like, oh, what's the secret? You just keep working on it, learning from mistakes, and just making these little incremental improvements. That is the big secret to any kind of fish or ecosystem or anything that you're working on. You're working on your garden, you're working on your lawn, you're working on your aquariums, you're working on your planet aquariums, your aquascapes, your paludarium, your reef tanks, your non-reef tanks, but they're saltwater, your fish only with live rock, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just anything like that, you know, breeding puppies, growing goats. It does any of this stuff. Same thing as with dealing with people, like this little peanut baby right here. Oh, I got to invert this thing somehow. How do I move the arrow? I can't remember. It's in the layout, I think. Do we spin it on the X? Oh, that doesn't help. What if we spin it on the Y? Oh, there we go. Like this little baby right here, it's going to be a long time before she is a good person. I mean, she's a fine person right now, but she's just, you know, she's a little tiny peanut baby that can't even walk. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, over the next 30 to 90 years, however long she lives, she's going to incrementally get better and better, and hopefully that continues on. And it's just all this little stuff. It's all the little bits that add up. It's just those little bits that add up that really get you to that point where you're being successful. And it really is like, you know, it really is. That's just how it goes. Like everything is just a super step. So Lexi, this is the key right here. You just keep working on it. Oh, whoops! Open the picture. So you just keep working on it and just keep rocking and rolling, and before you know it, you just got all these plants, and then you have like too many plants, and you're like, I never thought I would get here, but you will. You know, that's just how it goes. If you keep incrementally improving, just doing a little bit of maintenance and all that kind of stuff, you just, before you know it, you've got too many plants, and then you're having to sell them off, and then you have to get on Facebook because you're like, hey guys, I got a plant package. Somebody needs to buy these plants from me because I have a whole bunch of them and I have too many. That I see popping up from all sorts of people over the years. I see that popping up. where people were just a short time ago, in my mind, a couple years ago, would be like, which side does the water go in on the aquarium? You know, and then a couple years later, they're like, I've got all these extra plants. Hey, PM me for a plant package from my aquariums, you know. So just keep rocking and rolling on it. Luckily for us, especially the Planet Aquarium, it's like springtime all year round. So we don't have to deal with the winter months. We don't have to deal with fall. We don't have to deal with the middle of summer. You know, we're basically emulating springtime all the time for our plants in our aquariums. So we can definitely just keep going and keep going and keep going. And, you know, just be consistent. That's going to be the real secret. Johan sent this in on the 4th of July, or the 4th of June, not the 4th of July. What's wrong with me? 4th of June at 2:53 a.m. So, you know, luckily this website is open 24 hours a day. And which is good. It's always good news. If you have a website that's... I was trying to think of a website these days that is like not open at certain points in time. And that would be not Adorama, but what's the other one? What's that? What is that? What is that website? Well, it escapes me right now, but it's a camera and camera accessories. Hold on, let me see if I can figure it out. Camera accessories. Let's see. Let's see if we can't find it. It should be at the top. Let's go to shopping. For whatever reason, I can't remember the name of that company. Walmart, that's not it. It's not Best Buy. B&H Photo, there it is. Ooh, man, I had complete brain fart on that one. B&H Photo is not open for the Sabbath. Shabash, right? For religious reasons, they are not open from like Friday at sundown until Saturday at sundown. I think that's when it is. I'm not sure. But it's definitely B&H Photo. That's a website. You can go to it, but you can't place any orders, which is weird. Fish Tank Barn had it. Randall had it. It's like one of the few websites that's like not open at certain times, so it's kind of interesting. But Johan sent this in. He's got a brand new 220. He's still fine-tuning. Now, the thing that stands out to me here is the weirdness of this sump. This sump, I mean, it doesn't look weird per se, but there's something very interesting going on with this sump. And I have to admit, I am interested. I am intrigued as to what's going on, because it looks like there's like a baffle here and a baffle here, and then one here and one here and one here and one here. And they all look elevated because this water level is pretty consistent all the way across, is what I'm seeing. His heater is on, so it must be filled with water. 'Cause the one thing I was thinking is like, I don't know, maybe it's got nothing in it, but this is full of water. And this looks like the water line right here. And I'm wondering if this is actually just purely vertical filtration style sump, which I would be interested to find out how well that's working. I don't know. There's something going on there. So hopefully we hear from Johan like next week. Maybe he'll give us some action shots of what's really doing on this, and let us know exactly what's going on. I know there's probably some people in the chat like, it's off center, it's weird. Here we go. I'll put it back here, but I was zooming in, and I can't figure out how to zoom in and move this on the screen. I don't know how to do that. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe in the future, that'll be an update. I don't know. But I will say this chunk of driftwood right here, I do want. Luckily, I have some really big pieces of driftwood I'm working with that I got them in Oregon, and they're very, very special. They're very special. I'm very excited. I'm a little emotional about it. I hope to be able to escape with them on Monday, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so moving on to the next post, we got Ricky Tan, a.k.a. Ricardo Santiago. Says, finally, after a month, I get to see one of the coolie loaches swimmingly during the daytime. Ooh, that is actually pretty cool. That is one thing that I have, in the past, would always kind of upset me about the coolie loaches is like, I want to see them more. And then I realized, like, way down the line, once they became really comfortable, I started to see them a lot more. I definitely started seeing them more and more, and eventually I was like pretty satisfied with the coolie loaches. But yeah, really cool fish and a lot of fun to keep in a tank, that is for sure. Here's another action shot of the old the coolie loaches. I would say like 3 coolie loaches seems like a low number to me. I would probably work on getting more than 3 if you could. Maybe this, I don't know what the stocking is on this tank or what size it is or any of that kind of stuff, but 3 seems like a small little school of them, so maybe that could be the problem. They could be a little bit isolated, and then they end up hiding like this a little bit. And then finally, and then see, here's the third of 3 pictures of those little coolie loaches, which I dig it. I like it a lot. Now, there's a bit of a critique I have here on this image that we have posted up to the old internet here. I'm pretty sure this is your finger right here. Now, I'm not somebody who gets super critical about other people's photography. If your ISO is off or maybe your focus was off a little bit or something like that, because I'm just a struggling photographer myself. But this is the one thing that I will always point out, is that your finger was over the lens. It was the thing that you can't put in front of the lens. The finger. You can't see through the finger. So, but yes, I appreciate you sending in the action shots, and I'm just giving you a hard time. So don't get super mad at me or nothing. I'm just giving you a hard time about the old finger there in front of the lens, because that can be readily and easily avoided by just simply not putting your finger in front of the lens. Although I do it sometimes on the show here, And the reason I say I notice that kind of stuff is because I have done that myself. So it's, I'm not innocent of that. And as a matter of fact, with that Osmo Pop, the Osmo Action, that little guy we got, I caught myself doing that the other day. I had my finger over the lens while I was holding on to it because it's so small. I didn't even. Yeah, it's kind of funny though. So I'm not innocent of that either. Cindy425 says, if I have people coming over and don't like the way my tanks look, I run over to the co-op for new plants to fill it in. That's nice. I like that. That's a good way to do it. And, if you're not super near the aquarium co-op like Cindy is, you don't have to drive over there. You can just order them. Like, I'm down here in Tacoma, which realistically isn't that far from the aquarium co-op, but it is a hell of a drive. It is a hellacious drive. So I actually am tempted to just order stuff and have them deliver it to me, because it's just a crazy drive. I dropped the thing I had to pick up earlier, and now they're gone. So I'm sorry, I'm playing with this CO2 piece here, and dropped the screws on the ground again. Try to stop playing with that thing because I'll probably lose the screws here at some point in time. But Ricardo, that is awesome, and I'm glad to see that your fish are out and doing good. Preston John, who won the comment giveaway, we'll see what he does. I'm going to wonder if he's actually going to collect on it or not. I would wonder. It's in my head. I'm wondering if he's actually going to collect on it or not, and maybe he'll figure something out. But Preston sent this in, aka Preston John, aka Paid in Full Aquatics, It says, this is next on my list of crazy fun things to save up for, which I'll tell you, it says it's $3,100 on here, which is that's a lot of money, and I think if I had saved up $3,100, I probably would consider getting a new camera instead. But I don't know if I'm gonna even worry about getting an EOS R from Canon at this point. I'm pretty happy with the RP, which it does a lot of fun, but I am currently saving up for a Canon C200, so that's probably going to be a really, really, really long time before that ever happens, because it's like $6,000. So I guess I'm not that crazy. My car costs $2,000. my truck costs $2,000. So that's a thing. Anyhow, so this is next on the list of fun things to save up for: the SmartRoll multi-parameter handheld combines industry-leading water quality sensors with revolutionary smartphone mobility. That's kind of wild. The intuitive something application eliminates training time and runs on your iOS or Android device. The SmartRoll MP simultaneously measures 14 parameters. That's a lot. By the way, you guys, for any kind of automated testing thing, 14 parameters is a lot. You don't normally see that out of anything like this. So it not only this thing is probably worth $3,000 just for the first two. Well, maybe not the first two, but the first thing here for the dissolved oxygen, that's the big part of this thing. So an optical sensor that tests for dissolved oxygen is quite expensive. Conductivity, actual and specific, which is good. That's awesome. pH, ORP, salinity, total dissolved solids, resistivity, and density. Physical parameters: air and water temperature, barometric pressure, water level, and water pressure. Simply connect the SmartRoll MP probe to a battery pack, launch the app, and start reading the results. No warm-up time or tedious setup. So yeah, I can see why this thing is worth $3,100. Like, that's probably not a cheap thing to even put together, just because of all of the testers that are on it, all of the things that it's testing for. But I don't know, man. That's a lot of test kits. And when the test kit's like $35, I'm like, I don't know. I think I'll just order some test kits. That's hardcore, but this thing is cool. So I would be interested to test it out if anybody ever gets a chance to test this thing out, or if somebody has it. I would like to see if somebody actually has it or whatever, because even on this website right here, it usually ships in 1 to 2 weeks. So it's like they don't even ship it out for like 2 weeks, which means they probably don't even have one sitting on the shelf. So I haven't researched like who sells this or anything like that, but I would almost be like, if I was in the market, I would almost just contact those guys legit and be like, is this a middleman that's in the way to shipping this thing out, or do you guys actually have to build it, or what? I don't know. So see what's up. Ricardo said, sorry for the 3 posts back to back. I tried putting up all the pics into one pic, and it did 3 different posts. My apologies. Yeah. Hey man, no reason to apologize, Ricky. It just happens, and I ain't mad at you. I like 3 posts. I like posts from everybody. It's all good. And maybe you got 3 posts to put up, and maybe you do 3 more next week, and we'll talk about those ones too. But hey, don't put your finger in front of the lens. That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. So old guys like me see that, and then they're like, oh, I'm triggered. See, I don't get triggered by many things except for fingers in front of camera lenses. That's probably it. Sean Stenson, Yeah, Stenson sends this in, hoping for some advice, planning on a small basement fish room with an automatic water change system. Surprises, my water is treated with chloramine. I was planning on using the 10-inch housing filters, but not sure if that's still possible. Any suggestions are welcome. Chloramines are problematic. You're probably going to need an RO unit instead of just DI and basic filtration if chloramines are in there. The reason I say that, chloramines are typically, they're large enough that an RO membrane, a reverse osmosis membrane, will actually push them off into the wastewater and not allow them to go through. And it's things like chlorine, heavy metals, chloramine, and stuff like that that an RO unit and salts and stuff like that, an RO reverse osmosis membrane will actually do a lot for pushing those before they even get a chance to get into your filter and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of that wastewater comes from when you're running an RODI, the reverse osmosis deionization system, which we all use, especially for our reefs and stuff like that. So the downside is that there's really no way to do that on demand. You're going to have some kind of container. So you're probably going to have to look into some kind of container and find out what you're doing as far as if you can store some water. If it's a fish room that you have to store some water, then I would consider. I would consider, here's what I would do. I would consider a 400-gallon tank is probably about right, just to, considering just about any water changes that you could be doing even on a big system. For about 400 gallons will probably cover it. But here's the other direction that you could go. Get the auto water change system. Get that all set up. That's basically just plumbing in a sprinkler system. That's pretty much what that is. So if you Google putting in a sprinkler system, then you'll be able to, you'll be able to plumb that thing in and do your automatic water changes. But what I would say is that I would probably do a drip system on the water changes so that you're not dumping a ton of water in on the automatic water changes. So there's actually enough time, for chlorine to kind of gas off if it's just going in that little trickle or the drip system. Chlorine doesn't have a lot of time to exist, and that's why they add chloramine, because of the gas off from regular old chlorine. Chloramine's actually bound by another, I think it's another ammonia molecule, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it is bound with another molecule to make it heavier so that it doesn't evaporate like chlorine does. And so that's the main reason for having it. Now, the one thing that I would automate would be auto dosing something like Prime, a little bit of Seachem Prime in there whenever the drip water changes are happening, and that would probably be the best bet. That's what I would set up, and that's what I would do, is go that route. So I would just set up something that's going to automatically dose a little bit of Prime, like at the end of the cycle. So like, let's say you did a drip style water change and you ran it for like 2 hours. I would have the Prime trigger at the end to be able to bind up with those chloramines and be able to get it, and you will be able to get that in there. And so that's the direction that I would go. Let's see. We got a congratulations in the chat. New Mexico Aquatics says, Wednesday evening, I was watching the replay from Monday. I was about to comment on the video, and then my wife went into labor. Congratulations. That is awesome. Love hearing about other people having babies, too, so that we can wax and wane and lament about our hardships with our babies not sleeping and pooping their pants and pooping up their back like Olivia did this morning. She pooped directly, like, in the diaper, and it shot up her back. Took a while to get her cleaned up. But I got her ready for breakfast after finally cleaning her up, and then we had a great time until the sitter got here, of which we have to pay money. But I appreciate the position that I'm in right now to be able to continue doing the show and stuff, and be able to have a sitter, not crate train my baby and have to put her in a crate. I'm not saying I would do that, but you know what you guys get jokes, right? Fish Tank Barn sent this in. It says a little slow in the uptake. I know that discus picks were last week, but here are the discus from my 70-gallon discus tank. Yeah, I did put up a post last week on the Patreon talking about discus, and if we could take a look at some of the fancy discus everybody's out there's got. But here's the thing. Discus are timeless, my brother. You know, anytime you post a picture of discus is welcome in my world, as far as I'm concerned. Discus are sweet. I don't have any right now. But someday I'm going to encounter that special discus and hopefully bring some of them home again. Home again. But mad props. Thanks, Mike. Mike always has, like, some of the coolest stuff. And this is also one of those times where he has the coolest stuff. I wish I had discus right now. I just don't. I'm going to have to make some changes, though. It's going to happen at some point in time. Oh, who posted this? James R. That's right. James Reet, I think. Who knows? Says, I wanted to give you all an update. Did a little rearranging and rescaping. Not done yet. I've got Vallisneria coming to finish the back right corner. I'm super happy with the results. Vallisneria Nana. I've never heard of Vallisneria Nana. I'll have to look into that. Cheshire Cat says, is that a blue female beta? The blue really stands out. I've got blue, red, green, and red koi females. Okay, that's why. That's why you got that coloration on them. But cool fish. And by the way, this is going to grow in pretty well. You know, we got these crypts are probably going to be problematic at some point with them being so close to the front of the glass. I think I would personally, let's get the Aponigeton there and the Water Sprite and some Pogostemon. I don't know where I would move these crypts, but this crypt Wendetii has got to go somewhere. I guess I'd leave it up to you, but I think I would put them right back behind this log right here. Log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. Right? I'd probably put them right behind this log right here. I think that's where I would move them. Let them kind of fill in this little weird area underneath the Aponigeton. So that's what I would do. That doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm just saying that's what I would do. TK says narrow leaf val. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, narrow leaf val. Yeah. Aquaticy, what's up, my guy? Says if it can come out of a baby, it will get all over us parents. That's pretty true. Trey Hensley says, poop talk. Yeah, that's right. Poop talk. What's up? My baby pooped this morning right up her back. It was crazy. It's not the first time either. I'm not new. That's old hat. That's old hat so far. But you know how it is. Cheshire Cat posted up the now hiring duties, keeping the aquarium clean, glass and substrate and plants. Must be a hard worker, have a good appetite, and like male betas, not be afraid to get a little dirty and like to clean. If you want to quit for whatever reason, please submit a 2-week notice first. The salary is biofilm, algae, plant debris, and carrots. Room and board included. We'll have roommates. Flexible schedule, 3 positions open. Reply below if interested, which is pretty good. I like this this post because as soon as I read this bottom part, you'll know why I like this post. Last week, I was watching my male beta in a 7-gallon and noticed the glass was looking grungy. I thought, that's weird. I've never seen the glass this dirty before because the snails. Wait, Where are the snails? Apparently, my 2 Nerite snails up and left without bothering with their 2-week notice, or even a last-minute notice. Thanks, Roomba and Hoover. No signs of shells, so they must have escaped, although I haven't been able to find any bodies. I have cling wrap to cover this tank, and just open a corner to feed. Occasionally, I've forgotten to close it for a while, but dang, that's a slim chance for escape. Haven't seen another Nerite snail either. Last saw it a couple of weeks ago when I moved some fish and decor around, the snail included. I have to convince it to let go, come off of something. So now I only have 1 Nerite snail and 2 lazy mystery snails, all in my 25-gallon. I think I bought the mystery snails old. They were full size at purchase and have worn shells. They sleep on the job a lot. So I've quickly whipped up this ad. If anyone knows of any out-of-work snails, please send them my way. That's a great way to talk about how your snails are gone, right? It's a great way to talk about how your snails have gone awry and escaped. And I've definitely had that happen before with the Nerites. I've definitely had them. I've had them escape before. I've had them disappear before, and yeah. So it sucks, but sometimes they get out. I wanted to mention something here, right as we're going along. I'm gonna screen capture this. Check it out. So this is our top tier that you could be at. Hold on, I have to click a button here. There we go. This is the top tier on Patreon that you could be at, is the independently wealthy investor. We've never had the independent wealthy investor come through yet. So if Jeff Bezos is out there just, doing whatever Jeff Bezos does, like, hey, bro, I know that you built the giant Amazon spheres, and that's probably enough for you. But, hey, maybe you want to sponsor a local guy. Maybe you want to sponsor a local guy there, Jeffrey Bezos. You're only worth like $1 trillion, man. It's not a big deal for Jeff Bezos. I don't expect anybody else to be able to handle even the possibility of doing that. And by the way, it is posted up there as a joke and making fun of Jeff Bezos. I mean, although he'll never hear this or see this, it's pretty funny. Jokes, that is. Bezos. I just think he's a guy who owns a really big company. I don't really, one way or another. Anyhow, back to the posts for real. Cheshire Cat sent in these dope beta pictures, which I totally dig. Says, does she look healthy? Her scales look a little icky to me, and she tends to get a big belly, but that may be because she's with Pleiades and probably eats more than she should. Just want others' opinions for peace of mind. She behaves normally, swims around, alert, etc. Water parameters are good, and she eats bug bites, Sarah O-nip tabs, and gets peas and soaked freeze-dried bloodworms once a week. So, yeah, I think honestly, you have to be pretty cognizant with betas to make sure that they're not overfed. It really messes with their swim bladder if you overfeed them. And this fish does look to have a little tiny bit of overfeeding / might have something going on with the swim bladder. But normally the indication of a swim bladder problem is that they're like wafting around. They can't swim right. They can't stay upright. They can't handle themselves properly. So if they're swimming around and doing okay, then that's good. But I would definitely make sure you're not overfeeding any beta for that matter. But make sure you're not overfeeding this fish because this is a pretty majestic beta. So take care. So, but keep feeding peas and stuff like that. That will just help the bowel movements get a little clean out and keep that fiber rolling and help that fish, put a little relief on the old swim bladder and stuff like that. Johan sent this in earlier today, I believe, right? Yes. Says, so I'm thinking that this comma here is like how we use in the States, like a decimal point, because I see that overseas everybody uses a comma for some reason, but we use a decimal point. So this looks like $2.30 at the flea market. This thing is weird. This is just a super weird tank. And by the way, if somebody was selling this for $2.30, I don't even care how weird this is. I would have just bought it. Like even just for the fact that I could use the glass for something someday. But this is just a wacky little tank. I don't even know that I've ever seen a tank that was shaped like this. Like it's weird. It is super weird, but I mean, $2.50, I would have bought it myself if I was at that flea market. So I don't blame you, even though this is a weird tank and it has a blue bottom, I would have bought it. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with it, because I feel like there's some pretty cool plants and stuff like that you could add to this because of the opening that's going up, you know? Like as it fills in, you could get kind of interesting with this. Especially because, you know, you could do a lot of drift. Oh, you could do a lot of weird stuff with this tank. So I'm excited to see how this goes and how this turns out. And thank you very much for sharing it, Johan. So let's go to this scene here. I'm going to get small. I'm going to get down. I think I'm going to get up here in this corner. I think that's where it's the least obstructed. So this is the 150 here and doing some work on it. Let's have that play in the background. But I am slowly but surely realizing here that we are running out of time today. I wanted to do a super long show today, but I do have to leave the house in like a half an hour. So I need to get stuff packed and get out of here so that we can get early enough to what we need to get to. So I think we got about 5-8 minutes left, something like that, before I gotta go. And so I'll just let that play in the background, and then I'm gonna review our chat to see what's going on. Lee Peach, I noticed egg clusters off the ram's horn snails all on the glass. Well, that's good. I like ram's horn snails, so if I see ram horn snail eggs, I give it 2 thumbs up. I let them go because I love ram's horn snails, and they're great food for my puffer too, on top of it. Gar says, let me hit the lotto and you'll be packing for Texas. Yeah, I mean, it's jokes, man, but there's a reality that, like, I would love a big sponsor, at least maybe to do a series of videos or something like that. Like, it would be cool to give that a shot. Like, maybe we could do a season of episodes or something like that. It would be cool. It would be cool to give that a shot sometime. You know, I've never been in that position where I'm like, you know, I've never been in that position where I'm like, oh, the mortgage is paid for 6 months. We got 6 months to work on this project, or 5 months to work on a project, or whatever. I've always just been, oh, we got to get this month. Oh, we got to get this month. Oh, we got to get this month. I've always just been in that position. I've never been far ahead, you know. And I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and that's one of the things that he was talking about was, you know, he like moved to LA and was just like this. I think he was like 22 or 23 or something like that, and they gave him, he got a $250,000 development deal check, which meant that like his bills were paid for a couple of years from that check. So he could literally take the time to figure out like what he wanted to do. And he was being very gracious about that having happened. You know, is that he was like, man, I got super lucky. So, you know, props to him for being cool about it and not being arrogant about it. That's for sure. But I've never really had any kind of funding like that to try and do a big project other than remodel people's houses and stuff. But, you know, that's totally different. That's like, hey, remodel my house, and you know, you just earn the wage over the time of working there for like months on end. Lee Peach says, okay, thanks for the reply. They're in a tank with killifish, by the way. Well, killifish will eat the ram's horn's eggs. Killifish will probably eat just about any eggs that they could ever find. Learning to Fish Keep says, hello. Well, hello. Good to see you. I've been keeping my bright red ram's horn snails. Brown ones can live with the assassins. Alyssa, put the brown ones in a bag and bring them to me. Puffy McPuffer can eat them. He doesn't have a name. I should give him a name. He doesn't have a name. He's just a puffer fish. I guess his name is Pufferfish. That's not very creative, but could definitely feed him to the pufferfish. Thank you all. Can't wait to teach my new child about nature one day very soon. Goodbye from the land of enchantment. I'll see you later, New Mexico Aquatics. Good luck on the new baby action. I don't know. I didn't catch if it was the first time or the last time or what it was. We got a $3 Australian super chat from Fiona and Mick Dunstan. Well, thank you very much, Fiona and Mick. It says apprentice nomads. I don't know what that means. But thank you for the super chat. I have no idea what that means. Big D Smokes says, if I hit that $430 million lottery, I got you. Hey, I hope you win that lottery. I honestly do. I don't even have a ticket, so I don't. I'll put all my chi towards you winning the lottery. How about that? Candy says, I'll never have discus. Too much on my plate with Caleb. This tank just got long and skinny like discus. Well, I think realistically, like, discus get a bad name for like how much maintenance they need. They don't need that much maintenance. You know, a good healthy planted tank, you know, consistent, proper feeding, you know, water change every 2 weeks, once a week, you know, is plenty for discus as long as you're maintaining a healthy stocking and a healthy tank. A lot of plants will certainly help out with that. And I know Candy knows where to get the plants, the old Aquarium Co-op. Booyah. That's the way to go. Alyssa says the last batch of brown ones, I sold them to Robert, but breaking down another tank today, you're going to have those snails. Oh, hey, well, you know, if you ever got extra snails, Alyssa, you know who to go to. I can't do the big ones. I got to do the little, like, ram's horns and stuff. My puffer can't eat the big ones. First time baby. Oh, New Mexico, this is the first time baby. All right. Well, congrats. You joined my club now of being a new parent. I'm 7 months in, though, so I got a little head start. You know, we'll see how it goes. Buffalo Rose says, will killifish eat hydra? Seems really doubtful. I've never seen them do it, but they might. I just don't think that they even would recognize them as food, though. But they do recognize, like, snail eggs as food. I know that. That's no guarantee that they will eat them, but they do recognize snail eggs as food. All right, guys. Well, we've hit the 420 mark. So, for all you weed heads out there, I'm sober, so I don't smoke none of that nonsense. I don't smoke at all anymore. But you know, it's that 420 mark, and I got to get ready so I can get out of here and drive over the mountain range, over hill, over dale. Gonna be crazy. No new members today. Oh, man. Nobody hit that membership button, but we do have some super chats from Joel G. from New Zealand, YA Crazy, Rochelle D., Alvin Alejo. I forgot to give a shout out to Alvin. What's up, Alvin? You gave me the super chat. And Fiona and Mick Dunstan. Thank you very much, you guys, for your support and the super chats and all that stuff. I forget how many members we're up to. We still haven't hit the 100-member mark. But I will point out, I don't know if anybody even noticed that I was posting some of the new emojis into the chat. But I actually got some of the new emojis done. And, you know, I don't know if they are the best emojis that I've ever seen. Like, I could probably resize them. But we got some new emojis, and I'll spam them into the chat. We got the baby peanut. We got Alyssa Bentley. And we got me, and we got a killifish. So speaking of a killifish, you guys were super interested in the Gardneri killifish. There you go. Boom. We got an emoji for them now, so check that out. Because of the members, because of people being members, we can do more emojis the more members that we have. It's kind of one of those things, how it goes. Which also, I got to take the time to actually make them. It does take a little while, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like a point-and-click kind of deal. So, but those are some of the new emojis and everything, and I want to give a big shout-out to all the new subscribers. Everybody hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Preston, I need your address, even though I think I have your address, but email me and let me know what you want to do. Otherwise, I'll have to call you on the phone and find out what's up. Yeah! CJ, where did you put the button? CJ, where Where is the button?